Brandon Benefield, Gerard Bonner, and Diana Michelle.
What's going on, everybody? It's that time of the week. It's time for your favorite podcast, the SHW podcast. This is our wrestling. I'm B-Double Brandon Benefield, alongside the great GB Gerard Bonner, the lovely Diana Michelle, and joining us tonight, a very special guest. He was the longtime photographer for SHW. He just recently put the camera down for the final time a couple of weeks ago at our last show. And of course, I'm talking about the great Corey Tatum, Wrestling Snapshots. Corey, my man, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys? It's so great to see you guys again and be with you.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. And here's the thing. We were trying to do this a lot sooner, but then WrestleMania week showed up and all this other, life got in the way. So we finally got a chance to get you on the podcast here, and we've been talking about it for a few weeks now. So glad to finally have you. And man, well, first of all, speaking of WrestleMania, I know GB was up there for a little bit, and of course, Corey, I was living vicariously through you, watching your social media posts. Tell us about how your WrestleMania weekend was, man, or the whole week, really.
Oh, wow. It was a lot. It was a lot. As you guys know, or if anybody knows, when you go to WrestleMania, it's no longer just a one-night event type of thing for WWE. It's like all these independent promotions that are running their shows as well, and WWE is 2 nights, and then you also got NXT and da-da-da. So it was a lot. I had a packed schedule from Thursday to Monday. I think I took in about maybe 8 or 9 shows, I think.
Wow.
Nice.
And it was just go nonstop. So I got very small windows of sleep every night. But it was a blast. I was there to see Cody Rhodes finish his story, and he did. And all the other stuff is just icing on the cake. So, it was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, we know that, when was the last show that you had, that you were there last for SHW? Was it the beginning of March? Or end of
It was
March?
the February, right?
Yeah.
No, the 1st of March.
Yes, we had
Yeah,
2
it was
March
March.
shows.
Yeah.
March?
Yeah, the 2 March shows is throwing me off. But yes, so
Yeah.
it was the beginning of
Yeah.
March, right? Was the last one?
Yeah, it was the first March show was the last one that I did. That was SHW 60.
That's right. That's right. Well,
Yeah.
and here's the thing. I was just thinking about when we were talking about earlier in the week about you coming on with us. I went back and checked. It was episode 11 of this podcast, which was July of 2020. And we were in the midst of the pandemic, and we hadn't had a show yet until August, which was that Rumblejack that year. And so you were one of our early guests where we were just kind of trying to fill the time with some sort of wrestling content. You remember back to that time? And so I remember having you on then, and it's been over 3 years ago. And I know we touched on it then, but kind of talk about how you got into SHW. You'd been doing wrestling photography prior to that, but just getting into it. And then I want to kind of touch on some of your SHW highlights, because it's been so long since we had you on. I know we talked about it before, but there's been a lot of stuff since then. So
there has been a lot of stuff since then. So I started with SHW on the very first show. It was a lovely phone call that I got from Dylan, who called me, I think maybe 2-3 weeks before the show started. Dylan and I have a history in the past. When I used to work for Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, which is where I got started. I've been in the business for about 10 years now, and Dylan and I were kind of friends back then. He called me one day and he just said, "Hey, Corey, you still do photography and stuff around town?" I was like, "Yeah, I was shooting with Mucha Lucha Atlanta." And he said, "I'm getting ready to start this new promotion. It's up in Canton, Georgia." And he wanted to see if I could just, come and take some pictures that day. So I was like, "Absolutely, I'll be there to support you, whatever you need." And when I went to that very first show, and I believe DDP was there for that very first show to show off the title and everything. The first picture that I ever took for SHW was the title on top of a speaker.
Right.
And it wasn't something that Dylan asked me to shoot. It was just like, I saw the title sitting there, and I said, this is a moment that needs to be captured, because this title is going to be held by so many people in this company. I need to get this shot. And so that was the first picture that I ever took. And DDP was at that show. And from that very first show, I knew this was going to be something special. I knew that there was going to be some really good talent here that was going to grow to some wonderful, wonderful things in their future. One of the things that I love about taking pictures and being around independent wrestling is just seeing the growth of the youth, right? I'm there to take pictures to showcase what they can do, also to showcase what the promotion has to offer, but then also see the growth of this talent as it goes along, right? So he asked me to take pictures. I took some stuff for him. I didn't have my lights and stuff like I do now. It was just a straight camera, just tried to see what the lighting setup was like, and the rest is history from there. Like me and Dylan worked every single show, and he said, "Well, whatever you need to improve your photography and make us look better, go ahead and do it." So I would do different things like hanging up my flashes up on each corner to add a little bit more light to the ring, and stuff like that, and just experiment with different things. And I think I've probably taken about 55,000 pictures at SHW alone.
And that's no
sounds right.
exaggeration. That's no
That
exaggeration.
sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So there's been some really, really great stuff that came out of SHW for the last 5 years that I've been there. Some
Yeah.
surprising moments, to say the least. And I've grown some really good friends.
Absolutely. I was going to say, in the friendships, you just beat me to the punch. So I was like, we would have never met you had you not joined SHW. So that's been incredible.
And the funny thing is like we've crossed paths in the past and we didn't even know it. Like, weren't you at WrestleMania 27 or somebody was at WrestleMania 27?
I was at 27. GB was at 25, right? What? Sitting second row.
Yeah. So little things like that, you cross paths with people that didn't even know. Like Trayvon, one of the fans who's there, he was at Mucha Lucha Atlanta years ago. I had no clue he was even there.
Wow.
Stuff like that. So it's just really interesting how, it's a really big world of independent wrestling, but we all seem to like just crisscross from one another, and then finally find out that our friendships have been there for a very long time. As a matter of fact, these lovely people that I have sitting right here on my desk behind me, and you can see Brandon has one right behind him as well.
Wow.
Some wonderful, wonderful friends.
I have a whole wall, but my thing is.
Oh yeah, if you look up, which maybe.
There it is.
Oh wow,
the whole wall.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
Love my Corey pictures.
That's awesome.
It never failed. After every show, one of you guys would come up to me, usually Diana, and would be like, "Hey, can we get the picture?" And I have to remember, Corey, don't put your camera away and run out the door so quickly. We need to get the lovely stars in the ring or somewhere, and get that V3 shot. So
that's right. The infamous V3 shot. We love it.
The infamous V3 shot. Yeah.
Let me ask you this, because what I think is so interesting just about what's happening on this podcast right now is most people, when they think about pro wrestling, they think about the in-ring talent. And what we've been able to do here is kind of show people the other pieces that help make wrestling what it is. I know what my prep is for a regular show, and Diana has her prep, and Brandon has your prep. How do you prep for a show that you're about to shoot? What does that look like for you?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. Okay, so I can give you a couple of different variations here. So if I was to shoot a brand new show, like for instance, when I first started with SHW, the first show, I'm kind of based my camera and my setup that I have in my camera, my presets I have in my camera, off of what I think majority of wrestling shows will look like, which will probably be low lighting, right? Maybe a couple spots here and there, maybe something on the stage. So I'll go and I'll check my previous shows that I had similar lighting to that.
Okay.
Then after I get a little bit of reputation in there, I go, okay, I want to change things up. I'll go through and make some adjustments. I'll bring some extra lights in. I'm usually the day before, maybe 2 days before, charging batteries, reformatting cards, making sure my lights are still working. I'll actually put them up in my house and position them where I think maybe the ring will be, because I have a pretty big open floor plan in my living room.
Yeah.
And I'll just check and make sure that they flash how they're supposed to flash before I get there. I'll make sure that I've got gaffer's tape, because I usually put gaffer's tape around the lights so that they don't fall.
Yeah.
I'll check with Dylan to see if there's any new people who are going to be there that actually he wants me to take pictures of, whether I'm doing a promo shoot that night or I'm not doing a promo shoot that night. I'll check with him and make sure that, you know, I have equipment for that. And just things like that, or check and see who else is actually going to be there. You know, Peter has been a great help with me as a second camera, or someone who could sub for me if I'm not there. So I'll check with him and make sure that he's going to be there as a backup or something like that. When I get to the show, you know, I'm always checking out talent and just saying hello to everybody. You know, Faye is always there to greet me with a wonderful hug, and Diane is always there to greet me with a wonderful hug, and GB and Brandon. Check with all you guys. I'll usually stretch, believe it or not. There's actually that one side of the building where they have it tarped off, and I'll go behind there and put my equipment there, and I'll actually stretch.
Do some DDP yoga real quick.
Yeah.
Right.
Just a smidge. You don't want to cramp. You don't want to
get
get
it.
anything, right?
I get it.
And you don't want to pull something in a stance or something where you have to get that perfect picture.
And believe it or not, I have.
No, I believe it.
I'll get a couple bottles of water. I'll chug a couple bottles of water. May have some Gatorade or something like that. And I have knee pads that I use. That was a trick that a photographer told me a long time ago to save my kneecaps by getting some, you know, pretty good knee pads from Home Depot, as a matter of fact, some contractor knee pads.
Wow.
And they help with sliding. So a lot of times I'll have to run from one side of the ring to the other side of the ring. If somebody is trying to do a suicide dive or something like that, I'll have to slide a little bit on the floor. So I do that. And then, like I said, I just stretch, because one of the reasons why I'm having to retire, or I had to retire, was just because of some back problems that I was having. I've had sciatica and some other really bad issues with my back and my knees. So it was really important for me to stretch before we go out there and do a show and make sure I'm still well hydrated. And then I also do that throughout the show too. If we have an intermission or something, I'll double check and make sure that I stay hydrated or whatever. So yeah, that's pretty much what my prep is like. And then I get there and put up my lights and just do some test shots in the ring. I've even had some of the wrestlers like run the ropes before the show starts, so I can make sure that I can catch them in motion at the right speed of what they're running. So that's
He's a pro, folks, an absolute pro. I'm telling you.
Southern Honor would not be or look near as good as it does without you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's always a working craft, right? You know, I
Right.
never want to get stale. I never want to be content with the work that I do. You know, a lot of times people say you're as good as your last shot, and I don't believe that, or the last piece of work that you do, and I don't really believe that. I always feel like you have to have some room of improvement. So I'm constantly being my own worst critic, and just looking at my stuff, comparing it to others, or comparing it to my own self from months ago, and going, why does this not look like that? How can I make this look a little bit better? You know, they say the wrestling moves are all the same, but they're really not, depending on what angle you get them from. So I'm always trying to improve and just one up myself a little bit more. So hopefully that comes across with the product that makes the product look a lot better, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I'm curious. I love hearing how you prep and all this kind of stuff, but then it's making me sad because I'm realizing, like, wait a second, you're not going to be at the next show taking photos, and
I'm not.
You were done at 2 shows ago, you know, and it's like, now I'm wondering, what are you going to miss the most about photography? Are you done with photography as a whole, or just for professional wrestling? First of all,
I am done with photography as a whole.
Okay. And so what will you miss?
Wow.
What will you miss the most, you think?
Honestly, what I'm gonna miss the most is, well, 2 things. One, meeting with all of you guys and hanging out with you guys, because it really has become like a family. And I really do miss having those conversations with you guys backstage and in front. I really miss that. And then also just capturing those moments, you know. when I went to Southern Honor, I mean not Southern Wrestling, excuse me. When I went to WrestleMania, I went to some of these independent shows and I had no clue what to do with my hands. I had a small, I'm serious. I had a small point and shoot Canon G7X. That's actually not a really bad camera for, just taking pictures. And I was trying to do what I do with my big camera with that little camera while I'm being there as a fan, because it's just built within me to do it.
Yeah.
And so I'm really gonna miss trying to capture those moments. The last show that I was at, where I was doing promos, I came back. I finished early, and I came back and watched the last two matches of SHW 60. Yes, SHW 60.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there back there with Chris Despain and Lisa Despain, and I'm watching them going, I could have got that, if Peter's getting what he needs to get, because I could have got that. So I'm just gonna miss capturing those moments, a picture's worth 1,000 words, as they say, or something like that.
Yeah. And I know you told us, you said that just because you're done with photography doesn't mean you're done coming to the shows. So luckily we'll still get to see you. But like, I was just about to ask you, you kind of already answered it. Are you going to even know how to just sit back and be a fan?
I'm gonna try my hardest. Because I was a fan first. I'll always be a fan. That's one of the things that I also loved about taking pictures of SHW, is just that a lot of times I didn't know what was going to happen. I would ask Dylan what the rundown was or whatever was going to happen, and he wouldn't tell me anything sometimes, and I'd be just as shocked and be a fan just like everyone else was, and that's exactly how I wanted to feel. GB knows when his excitement, you could hear it, in that commentary. And there were moments I will never forget. There were moments that people took pictures of me, and the shock on my face.
Wow.
After I saw something happen, or after I grabbed a picture, and I'm looking at the back of my camera going, oh my God, the front row, I don't know the name of the crew, but you guys know the front row.
Josh and Jamel and those guys up against the production booth. Yeah.
They have like said multiple things to me while I'm running around the ring, like, go get the shot, Corey, or Corey, did you get that? Or like, oh my God, Corey, did you see that? Whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I saw it. So, I feel like I'm right there. I just have a front row seat. I'm a fan. I'm just right there in the front row. That's all it is,
So I want to ask you this, because I think this is super interesting, and this is probably going to be a hard question. Okay. But in your head, what are probably the top 5 shots you've taken?
Ooh, yeah, narrow it down to 5.
I say 5 because if I said, whatever number I grab, one would probably be insane. We don't
want to be up here.
This is overall. This is overall. Yeah.
At SHW, your top 5 favorite shots, because again, you've captured so many incredible moments over the years that it's, I wonder, because I think for all of us, we may, if you ask us, top 5 calls, top 5, announcement moments, we might at least have an idea, possibly, but it's probably tough to grab. You have captured moments that have literally, been a part of the fabric of our company. So I wonder for you, as you think about it over these 5+ years, what are your top 5 favorite moments that you've captured?
Okay, so I'd have to start off by saying the photo of Dylan falling off the ladder when he was with Kevin Ryan.
Wow.
That moment of where he's midair and you can see the tables there. He's not even there yet. And there's almost even a look of Kevin's face when he was on the ladder. Like, oh my God, what is about to happen?
This was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Right. that moment, I'm sorry, but that moment will
great
forever,
moment.
Oh yeah.
It will forever be ingrained in my head. I'd say that moment. Plus, that was early on in the promotion, so even then, I was just like, "Wow!" That was show 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, that moment. the moment when see, no, I feel like I'm bringing up bad moments, but
Oh,
um
no.
the moment when Danny joined the New Era and she
Mm.
beat up Gary Lamb, and there's all the trash in the middle of the ring, which
Yeah.
looked like something you would have seen in like an old ECW show or
Right.
something. Like I
Right.
never thought I haven't seen that kind of heat from the fans in a long, long time.
Wow.
And there's a shot where Gary is laying on the ring and Danny is just standing there by herself. Even though she joined the New Era, it was like she was the leader of the New Era almost, because she's standing there by herself and there's just trash everywhere. I'll never forget that
Wow.
picture.
Wow.
The dog collar match with Huck and Joe,
Yes.
not the one where they went outside and was on the car, because I think that was the second time they fought. Maybe that was the first time they fought, but I wasn't there for that one. I was there for the other one, and there's a great shot that I got where Huck had the chain, the dog collar chain, wrapped around his fist, and he punched Joe in the side of the face, and his jaw is kind of like this, and the fist is like right here, and the chain, and brutal,
Wow.
brutal. I was
Wow.
like, I could not believe that I caught that moment.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that was it still here. And then the January after, like a couple months later, was the dog collar match where they ended up in the parking lot. So I know what
okay,
you're talking about.
okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay. And the thing is Joe and Huck have a long history. I've
Right.
followed
Yes.
Joe and Huck since I started my career. And so I know the lineage, I know the whole thing between them. So when they were fighting and it was announced, I was like, you guys have no idea what you're getting ready to see. I didn't
Wow.
even know what I was getting ready to see. So I'll never forget that. Um, and then probably the Avenger shot was what I call it, which
Yeah.
is when Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho showed up, which blew my mind because Kenny Omega is like my favorite wrestler of all time. And he's standing there in the ring, and it's basically, like I said, the Avengers. You've got him in the center, David Ali, AC Mack, Lindsey Snow, the Lynch Mob, Sunny Days, Sean Dean. They're all just kind of lined up together as if they're just like, we're ready to take on the entire world. Like, where's Thanos? We're gonna take him out, and it was a beautiful shot. It was a beautiful shot. The lighting just kind of hit everybody from behind. It was awesome. I love that shot.
That's awesome.
I could name more, but
Yeah. No,
that's
that's
probably the ones
amazing.
that stick out in my mind right now.
That is amazing. That
Yeah,
wow. I love
Well,
it.
so we talked about the last time you were on this podcast. It was, I
yeah,
want to say it was episode 11, but it was July of 2020. And it's been a long time ago. Now, I know at that point we probably asked you what was one of your favorite memories. Now, of course, we're talking about favorite photos, but just overall
yeah,
favorite memories. Now, at that time, you just brought up Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho. That was
yeah.
still fairly fresh. That was about a year removed when
Mhm.
you were on the podcast last time. So we had a lot of
Right.
talk about that particular night. But since then, I mean, we've got 3+ years since then to work with here. Anything particularly stand out? Favorite moments? Doesn't have to be favorite photograph or anything, but just favorite big moments that has happened in the last few years that
Um,
stick out for you.
Probably Gary having his first match. Did not see that coming. Didn't know what he was going to do in the ring.
Nobody
Yes.
Um,
did.
no, I loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
Oh, the crowd ate it up. I mean, the crowd
Yeah.
Oh,
loved
they
it.
ate it
Yeah.
up. They totally ate it up. And I was like, okay, that's it. That one and done. Get out. Don't do that anymore. you know.
But he did.
He did.
Yeah.
Zach having his match with Logan Creed or Cruel.
Mhm.
Wow.
That was amazing. Like low Cruel. Look, I'll call him Cruel.
Look,
Is
all I'm going
a
to say, Corey, is just be careful. You say whatever name you want, but I don't want
okay.
Brooklyn coming after the podcast. So
Okay.
just
Okay.
know that if
Okay.
you call him by his old name, that's on you. That's all I'm going to say.
Cruel is a ring general
Yeah.
And a locker room general. I've followed him for a very long time, and to take someone like Zach, who's untrained, and make him look like $1,000,000 says a lot to Cruel. There has not been a bad match that I've ever seen with him, with anyone. He can make anyone look like a star. At $1,000,000, he really knows how to command that ring. He really knows how to work with everyone. And he's a wonderful, wonderful person. That match will forever be a wonderful moment in my mind when I saw the two of them. That was a great moment. Anytime they come over there and mess with you guys at the table, those are great moments. The guy, I don't even remember what his name was, but he looked like a butcher or something like that, and he had this really big beard. He had white
Sin Bodhi.
Sin Bodhi.
Yeah. When he came and wiped his face on Brendan's head, that was phenomenal. Anytime that you guys get scared when Cyrus comes over there and they're gonna go through the table, like those moments are great.
Yeah.
Diana, you've had moments in the ring where you're like, "Don't mess with me. I'm gonna come to you. I'm gonna cut you at the knee." Those are great moments. Even the match with Nathan when he went through the flaming table on SHW 60. That was insane. Nathan has really just blown me away with the amount of stuff that he's willing to put his body through. Those are great moments that I will never forget. And then anytime that I have a promo session with all you guys and most, and all the workers in the back. Those are great moments.
2, 3.
I've gotten so many comments from people who say, "I love the fact that you count.
Yes.
I love that you count when you take your pictures.
Yes.
And I love that you say whenever you take your pictures.
When you're liking it, yeah.
Because it just gives them that sense of they're doing good, and the photos are going to come out really good. I like to give people confidence, and I like to let them know that I'm working for you. You're not working for me. I'm trying to make you look great, and so hopefully me doing that lets them know that they're doing a really good job.
It also builds the anticipation of when are we going to see them? When are we going to see them? I can't wait to see those photos.
Yeah.
I always love the shoots with you, always, because we know they're going to be fire. They're always going to be good.
Yeah.
The new promo. It's our new profile picture. It's our new my wall
all the time. All the time. You have
I'm constantly getting people asking me, you doing promos tonight? No, I'm not doing promos tonight. And then when I do them, those candid moments that I get where someone jumps in front of somebody else, or they want to photobomb somebody, whatever. Those are fun moments to me. They're great memories,
I think my favorite candid was when we were with Bryce. All three of us are Bryce, and I was twisting his arm, and that was just crazy. That's one of my favorites. I love that one.
Yep.
We got a funny one with him. We got a funny one with Logan Chase. I feel like Austin Towers jumped in one. Cyrus, you mentioned Cyrus. Cyrus jumped in one backstage.
Cyrus jumped in one. I rember all that.
I think I got choked out by Tank at the last one.
Yeah.
Yep, I remember that. So I love all that. And one other thing that I wanted to say, moments for me, is honestly the fans. I try to make sure that the fans are as much of a member of the team and a member of the promotion as the wrestlers, what they're doing in the ring. So I will constantly be looking at people around the outside and try and get their expression as soon as something crazy happens. And I've got some wonderful pictures of shock and awe from these children who may or may not have ever seen a wrestling show before. And so I love capturing those moments as well, where you see families, you see older people, younger people just enjoying themselves and enjoying the show. Whether you like the wrestler or you don't, I've even gotten great pictures of fans flipping off some of the wrestlers, and giving them heat. A great one between Joe and this older woman I will never forget, and I don't remember what it was, but they were just going at it. I was like, "Lady, please don't come over this guardrail."
Please.
please stay in your seat. But
Your life
I've
will
got some great
end.
pictures of that. Yeah, and signs too. You know, with Cheyenne
Mm-hmm.
and all her signs. You
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
know, those are some great moments as well. So I love capturing that stuff with the fans.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that I think is so important about capturing those things with the fans is for people who are unable to come to the show,
Yeah.
when you post those pictures, they not only get to see the moments that happened in the ring, but seeing those fan reactions communicates to them what the emotion was in that room and in that event, which I think is so important. And it's important that you have the eye and the vision for that,
Yeah.
because it really does do some great things with the show. I'm curious, and you can mention anyone outside of SHW on this one, but I'm curious. You have, again, been shooting for 10 years in wrestling spaces, and you clearly, you know, it's funny. There's always Dylan who has a picture with somebody, and, you know, it's at some wild moment. But I'm curious for you, what are some of the photos of wrestlers that you managed to get in independent spaces that have really gone on to do some massive things, you know, in national or international promotions?
Oh my gosh, that is a huge loaded question.
How list is that?
Yeah. It's really hard to say.
Okay.
I'd have to go back and see some of the pictures that I've taken. Because you know I've taken pictures with Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, Lucha Atlanta, like you know taking pictures of Penta El Zero Miro, I guess is what he's calling his
Wow.
name now. He
Yeah.
was one of the first. He was one of the first promo pictures that I ever took. There were two
Wow.
people. I started taking promo pictures when I was with Lucha Atlanta back in 2016.
Okay. Wow.
And one day he asked me, he said, Corey, have you ever taken promo pictures before? And I was like, no, but I think that I could do it, you know?
Yeah.
And so I took some pictures. I had no clue who I was taking pictures of. And the very first picture that I ever took was of Gigi Dolan, who's
Oh
Wow.
Gigi
yeah.
Dolan now in
Yeah.
NXT, who
Yeah.
used to be Priscilla Kelly.
Yeah.
Right.
And she was the very first promo picture that I ever took. And then the second one that I ever took was Penta El Zero Miro. And
Wow.
so seeing the two of them and like where they are now,
That's huge.
those are really, really big. And then I took pictures at Scenic City Invitational, and so Matt Riddle was someone that I took pictures of, and where he's at now. I took pictures at Dragon Con. I took pictures at Ring of Honor. But of course, when I was with Ring of Honor, a lot of those people had already been, you know, blown up or anything like that. But I
Yeah.
will say that when I took pictures at Ring of Honor, Cody Rhodes was actually on his first independent run when I
Right.
took pictures at Ring of Honor. And
Wow.
so seeing him make that huge change
Mhm.
was a big deal to me.
Yeah.
And you know, WWE and AEW and making towns and Southern Honor Wrestling.
Yeah.
Sean Dean and
Mhm.
Carly Bravo, you
Yeah.
know, those two taking their early photos. I mean, a lot of times people have told me in the past, like, you were always they say you're always my first. Um taking taking their promo picture. And so
That's
hearing
great.
that and then going
That's
back and
great.
seeing those pictures, I'm just like, oh wow, okay, you really have grown and changed and
Yeah.
you know developed a lot.
Yeah.
You know, Danny Jordan was someone that the very first promo picture that she ever had taken was
Wow.
with me. Yeah, so I'd have to go back and really look and deep dive and tell you exactly who, but that's just a few that I can think of right now.
Those are some amazing names, and
Yeah,
it's funny because even from a commentary and ring announcing perspective, you know, when you've worked so many matches, you know, you end
yeah,
up looking back and going, "Wait, I called a match for so and so, and I
yeah,
announced." So you end up becoming, here it is, part of their story, which I
Right.
think
yeah.
is super important. And so, you know, one could argue that at SHW 60, you finished your story in terms of the world of photography. So what's next for Corey Tatum?
Corey Tatum is going to try and get front row to every show that he can go to.
I love
So,
it.
So that way, at
I
least
love it.
I'll feel like I'm on the ring and I'm taking
Yes.
pictures.
Yes.
I kind of feel like all you have to do is show up and you have a seat, Corey.
Exactly.
I mean, I really feel that way.
No, I don't think so. I gotta pay just like everybody else. I mean, I may be able to call somebody and go, "Hey,
Yeah.
I was gonna
That's
say,
you got
right.
any front row seats left?" But I'll be willing to give you the $1,
Yeah.
to do so. So
I love it.
like
Oh,
I believe it's Faye's daughter. I believe that's who she is. Who works at concession stands at
Okay.
SHW. It will never fail since like maybe the third or fourth show. She will never take money from me whenever I go ask her for some water.
Wow.
But I will always, always, always give her that money
Wow.
somehow when she's
Right.
not looking. Or I'll put it in the tip jar or something like
Yeah.
that. Like I don't want any of these, special privileges
I get
since I
it.
work crew. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I'll make sure that I pay for that front row seat. But that's what's next for me. I'd like to just take a step back, heal up my back, heal up my knees, and just enjoy being a fan again, and not being so close to the product. And then who knows? One day I jump that guardrail and have my camera in hand and
Play.
Yeah.
start taking pictures again. I don't know.
he's
Yeah.
back.
He's
Right.
back.
Hey,
It's funny, the next show, when it was announced that Paul Walter Hauser is going to be there, who I just met like 2 weeks ago at WrestleMania, and I'm a huge fan, I reposted it, and then lo and behold, Dylan comments on there going, still retired? Question mark.
I saw it and I loved it. I hearted it
Don't try me.
because I thought the same thing. I was like, no, wait a second.
I
Don't try
mean,
me.
I
No.
mean,
All
Maybe
right.
take
Book
half
him on
the show
purpose.
off and rest a little bit, but come do at least half the show.
Mm,
He's like,
He's thinking. He's thinking.
he's thinking about it.
just come prepared. How about that? Just bring your.
I'm
smoke.
always
I
ready.
know.
What's that thing? Stay ready so you got to get ready.
Yeah,
That's right.
It's
There
like
it
the wrestler motto is always bring your gear. So it's like just bring your knee pads. Always have the knee pads
You never
ready.
know.
That's what happened when I was at Lucha Lucha Atlanta when I first started. My friend was working backstage and he saw me in ringside. He said, "Hey Corey, you got your gear?" I was like, "Yeah, why?" He goes, "You want to shoot ringside?" I was like, "Sure, why not?" And then
All right.
the rest was history from there. So.
All right. Well, look, I know you just mentioned Paul Walter Hauser. Now, of course, we jumped right into this, and because we want to make this episode mostly about you and you retiring, you having your farewell show with us a few weeks ago. But there was some big news that happened this week. As you mentioned, Paul Walter Hauser, Emmy winner, Golden Globe winner, actor, and wrestler, as he's had matches with Cardona and Sami Callihan recently. It was announced he's coming to be the special guest matchmaker, a la or per the request of Jake the Snake Roberts, apparently, and he'll be at the show. So we're super excited about that. Not only that, but even like a day or two before that, there was a on-set photo behind the scenes of Roman Reigns in a movie with Keke Palmer, an upcoming project, and the SHW title belt is in the picture. Like, so all these weird Hollywood connections going around. And what are your thoughts here, buddy? Like, we were blown away by it. What were you thinking?
Hollywood has had a taste of $7 wrestling from IWTV, and they're like, I want to buy in. I am excited. I am so excited about Paul Walter Hauser being there. I'm so excited to see this random viral photo of Roman Reigns with our title. Like, that's just insane to me. Like, what is happening? Why did I retire?
It's never a good time.
Why did I retire?
But look at it this way though. Now you're a fan. You get to come to the shows and just take it all in. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm really pumped. I'm really pumped to see what's going to happen at the next show. I'm definitely going to go say hello to Paul Walter Hauser and be like, "Hey, You remember me from 2 weeks ago? You probably
Right. Right.
Hey, old buddy, old pal, how are you? Good to see you again.
Exactly. Really nice guy. Really nice guy.
Awesome.
But I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Yeah. We're excited to have him. Here's the thing. He's already been announcing some matches already this week. Of course, we already heard about the War Chamber match, which is going to be in effect. You got the end game taking on the Hierarchy. Oh, that's something I wanted to ask you about, Corey. I know that you and Chip Day go way back prior to the SHW years. And I know that the Hierarchy existed well before SHW. Chip Day's affiliation with the Hierarchy goes way back beyond SHW years. Now, and you weren't unfortunately at the last show, but he officially joined the SHW incarnation of the Hierarchy. And when you found out about that, you had to be kind of beaming, I would think, right?
I threw up the 2 fingers.
I knew it. I
saw that picture and I threw up the 2 fingers and I was like, yes, it's finally happened. Chip has joined the Hierarchy. Yeah, Chip and I have a very long history. Again, the first, right? Chip was my first. First picture I ever took was with Chip Day. And so I'm very excited to see what happens. That is a team that is just so built with energy and furiousness and like a never say quit, mentality. I can't even imagine what kind of violence they are going to go up against the end game. Like what is going to happen? That whole mega powers collide. Like that's what's going to happen between these 2 teams. Is that chamber going to be able to hold all of this? Has anybody ever actually gone through that thing before? Like it might happen. I would not be surprised if it happens. That photo, which all of these pictures on this poster I have taken, which blows me away.
Wow.
But that poster of all of them behind the fence, behind that cage, is so like just powerful. It's so like one of those things where it's like you can just hand this out to anyone and they don't have to know anyone that's in that lineup. They don't have to know any of these guys' names and just go, I want to be there to see that show.
Yes.
I need to find out what's going to happen between these 2 teams. I have no idea what to expect. I mean, so pumped.
I know it'll at least be chaos for sure.
It's going to be chaos.
We can expect chaos. Yeah.
Because isn't this the same type of match where Corey Hollis went through the match?
Yep.
Is that the same type of match?
That was still here
double
one.
ring?
Yeah, the double ring, one big cage. Yep.
Okay.
And which I think threw a lot of people off because we've had a few of those matches, but they've always been at Still Here, which is the anniversary show. Right. So I think the fact that it got announced that it's going to be this upcoming show, everybody's like, whoa, wait a second. So this is going to be massive, and it's not even Still Here. So
it's because of the rivalry that's going on between the 2 teams. It's so strong and it's so amped up that they can't wait.
Yeah, that's right.
To do that thing. They have to do it now. We have to do it now.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Not only is that match, we already knew about that match at the end of the last show. Then we get the announcement of Paul Walter Hauser coming in, becoming the matchmaker. And over the last couple of days, yesterday and today, he's already announced 4 big matches that are coming up. And next week, of course, will be our preview show. So we'll get a little more in depth and we'll go through all the matches a little more in depth. But I do just want to announce them real quick. If you haven't followed us on social media, go ahead and check it out. But we've heard about 2 championship matches already. The Jake the Snake Legacy title will be on the line as Hunter James makes his first title defense against the returning Cody Fluffman.
Wow.
Fluff. Yeah, I just noticed I had a shirt. Buff and Fluff connection. Come on now. Buff and Fluff, of course, coming back off of a UK tour over the last month or so. And finally returning back to the States. And old Fluff, body positive as he is, gets in there and gets a title shot right away. So I can't wait to see that. Then you got Darian Bankston, the returning Darian Bankston, taking on the Ugly Duckling, Rob Killjoy. Now, what a lot of people might not realize is that while Paul Walter Hauser has been training for these wrestling matches that he's competed in over the last couple of months, Darian Bankston has been one of the guys helped training him, one of his training partners. And so he specifically handpicked Darian Bankston to come back for May 3rd at SHW 62. So I can't wait to see
Nice.
that one. Bankston
Yeah.
versus Killjoy. And then a couple more that were announced earlier today. Kyle Matthews versus Jaden Newman.
Yeah,
Gunnar
they did.
Miller.
Wow.
Gunnar Miller versus Sal Renaro. So a couple of huge singles matches that I just absolutely can't wait for. But I mean, I can't believe Paul Walter Hauser is going to be at the show. Like, that's still
I
blowing
can't
my
believe it
mind.
either.
And he's
I can't
already
believe
making the card that he's announced so far. I'm like, when they announced it, I thought, okay, maybe he'll wait till the last minute. Like, no, he's taking it seriously. Right away, he started planning it and going back and doing his research about the different feuds and what's going on in the company. I mean, he's ready, man. He's prepared for this.
I want him to show up in his Cobra Kai get up and just be like,
as soon as this got announced, Diana was like, Stingray. Oh, it was awesome.
I love that. I love that so much.
It's good. It's really good.
I can't wait. Wait, hang on one second.
What you got?
First of all,
You
let me
got
just
Paul's number? Do you have Paul's number now?
let me just
Right,
say
I'm
this.
sure he does.
Let me
I'm sure
just
he
say
does.
this. I'm glad GB is already sitting down
Oh no.
because I've just gotten word and I've gotten permission to break the news here on the
Okay.
podcast.
Okay.
Reka Tahaka is returning on May 3rd, SHW 62 to face Hyena Hera.
Whoa!
Oh, wow.
So how about that?
Now,
That's awesome.
Wow.
Hyena Hera.
I had to
Holy cow.
just tell myself that the full preview show is next week. So I'll save all of my commentary for that. Just understand this is going to be a fantastic match.
Real quick though,
Yeah.
since we have a special guest, GB, can you hit us one time with the "She's Yo"?
Well, you've already hit it.
But no,
Do
I
it,
just
do
teeing
it.
you up. I'm just teeing you up.
I mean, I
Do it.
don't know.
Corey wants it.
Do
Corey
it.
wants it.
No,
We
GB.
want it. We
You
want
know,
it.
I just here's what I do know. Here's what I do know. Our queen has been all over the place. I've been seeing her in the NWA lately. You know, she has been doing, and we haven't seen her all year here in SHW. So it's going to be, maybe I'll save it for her when she comes. Maybe I'll actually sing it.
Corey, I tried.
For her.
I tried to get him to
I'm
do
going
it.
to hold you to that.
I mean, I might, but she's your queen. There you go. All right. There you are. There you are.
There it
Oh,
is.
I love it. I love
There
it.
you are.
I
There you
love
are.
it. I'm going to let you help me announce her out to the ring. How about that? You come on in and just sing it.
Oh, man. That'd be pure comedy.
That would be awesome.
It would be
That's
gold.
going to be a great match, though. Wow.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, just great job to you for sneaking that in there and throwing us off. Because I was like, oh, he's not going to do it. He did it.
Boom.
That's right.
That's awesome.
That's
dude.
right.
Oh, but I mean, the
Oh,
card
yes.
already is already
That's
looking
gonna be
massive.
amazing.
Hats
That's gonna be
off to Paul Walter Hauser, our guest matchmaker for SHW 62, coming in hot. I'm telling you.
Coming in hot. Oh yeah.
It's going to be amazing. May 3rd. You're not going to want to miss it. Of course, next week we'll be back here right here on this podcast to do the full preview show. But man, Corey, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on here. We are going to sadly miss you taking photos, but we are happy to see you there as a fan. We'll still see you at some of the shows, so can't wait for that. But man, we're going to miss you taking the photos.
The only cool thing about that is that we'll actually get to spend more time with you without you being exhausted.
Yeah.
We'll get more pictures with him.
Yes.
Pictures with him. Right,
Yes.
right.
You know, that's the thing, is like I do regret sometimes not being able to get selfies with some people.
Yeah.
I don't like taking pictures of myself, and it's funny, I got this giant camera and I know what to do with that, but when it comes to this phone, like a lot of my pictures are out of focus, and I'm like, how is this possible? All I gotta do is push one button. I don't know why this is out of focus, but
I get it.
I would love to be able to take more pictures with you guys and spend more quality
Well, we do
time
have
with
a
you guys.
couple of us four. We have a couple of us.
Yeah.
That'll be the
a
new
couple.
thing. If you're at a show at the end, instead of getting the V3, we're like, all right, the V4.
Yeah.
Get over here, Corey.
Yeah, come on in.
There
Come
it
on
is.
in.
I'll be right there.
Because there's
Absolutely. I
been-
will
Use
be
one
at
of
the
those
next
as a thumbnail for this show.
Let me just tell you this, Corey. There have been numerous people, at least a handful, that have tried to get in and become a V4. And we're always like, no. But Corey Tatum, Corey, I think I can speak for the other two when I say Corey Tatum is welcome as the fourth member.
Definitely.
Okay.
So there you go.
I love it.
It's
There it
official
is.
right
love
here
it.
on the
We can
podcast.
just
It
all
is
do that for
official.
her. That'd be great.
There it is.
I love it. All right, when I come in there on May 3rd, is it? When I come in there, I'm gonna be like this.
There
I like
it
it.
is.
I'm gonna be like
Come
this.
on.
Do it.
Absolutely.
It is on.
I ain't got no thumbs. Here I am.
Oh man, I can't wait. I can't
Well,
wait.
Can I say
will-
one more thing real quick?
Please,
before
Yeah.
by
we
all
leave?
means.
Here's the other great thing that I love about Southern Honor Wrestling, and I am so blessed, and you guys will know that I am so blessed that I have at least did one thing with SHW before I retired, and that was to bring my mother
Yes.
to this promotion and share what I love so much with her. This woman who raised 3 boys, and is a cancer survivor, has watched wrestling with me since I was a little boy. And my first wrestling show, I think I was 5 years old.
Wow.
And we went and saw Hulk Hogan, and we saw not Andre the Giant, but we saw George the Animal Steel and Junkyard Dog and Dusty Rhodes. And she used to watch with me all the time. Not my dad, but my mom did.
Mm-hmm.
And she hadn't watched in years. She didn't know the whole Cody Rhodes story. She didn't know any of that. And she was coming to visit me in October. And I said, Mom, let's plan it so that way when you come, because I don't know when you're ever going to come back up here.
Yeah.
When you come, that SHW is doing a show. She said, okay, baby, well, we'll go. And I said, all right. So I called Faye, and I said, Faye, make sure we get front row seats. And she said, okay. We were sitting right behind you guys.
Yes.
And she was like a little kid again, enjoying that show. She knew no one who was on the card. No one. And she fell in love with Naj. That is her new favorite wrestler.
Yeah.
She fell in love with Cyrus. That's her new favorite wrestler.
Yes.
And since that day, she has told me that she has gone wrestling crazy. She will call me or she will text me, and she'll go, happy Monday Night Raw, happy SmackDown Friday, happy AEW Wednesday.
You're going to make me cry.
That's it. That's all she does. And I really, truly believe it was because she had witnessed what I love and I have loved for so many years. And it has brought in her that joy back that she used to have when she was a kid.
Absolutely.
So I personally just want to say thank you to you guys and to thank you to SHW that I was able to at least share that moment with my mom since I started this wrestling photography journey. And that's so it means a whole lot to me. And you guys will forever be family. And SHW will forever be family and mean the most to me. You have no idea.
Wow. Oh, hugs. Oh.
I don't know that we can end the show on any higher note than that.
That's incredible.
I
do want to publicly say, though, I don't know if I speak for everybody, but I'll take the liberty to and say thank you for the work that you have done for us. You have made us look better than we could ever look on our own. Your promo photos for us have literally gone everywhere.
Yes.
And so, you are certainly a huge part of whatever happens with us and what has happened with us. We've all been able to branch out and do some other things. And those are the photos that have been used. On every flyer I've ever been on is a Corey Tatum photo.
Right.
I mean, like, seriously. Seriously. So I am grateful, man, for all of the work, the vision that you have, the ease that you make. I mean, you make it easy for us. And so from those photos to the action shots, all the things, man, thank you so much. You, man, I mean, you deserve the absolute best of everything for what you have done for the wrestling community. So thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. And Godspeed to all of you guys, and I love you.
We love you.
We love you.
We love you. We love you. Absolutely.
We love you, buddy. And before
and tell your mom hello for us.
Yes,
please.
I will. Absolutely. I will
please
tell her
do.
that.
Hello to Mama Tatum for sure.
She would not stop saying, she's so pretty. She's so pretty. When we were at the show,
I love her.
She see you in the ring doing your left ear. She's just so pretty. I'm like,
yes.
I know.
Yes. I love it.
Bless
I
her.
love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, she's not wrong. She knows
She's
what she's
not.
talking about.
He's not. He's not. Absolutely.
Oh, all right. Before we all turn into a big blubbering ball of tears
Sorry,
here,
I'm sorry.
let's get out of here and wrap this thing up. But man, what an
my
amazing show!
eyelashes fall off.
What an amazing journey it's been with you, Corey. Getting to experience this whole SHW tenure with you has been amazing. And like GB said, man, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We love you. And hey, can't wait to see you at SHW 62 May 3rd, right, my man?
I'll be there with my
Yes,
four.
sir.
Oh,
Well,
yes.
next week we will be right back here on the podcast, and we will be previewing SHW 62, a great card put together by our special guest matchmaker, the amazing actor Paul Walter Hauser. Yes, it's true. He will be there doing a meet and greet and all that good stuff. But we'll be back here on the podcast next week. And until then, this has been
SHW.
This is our wrestling.